We are now moving forward with our cabinet assembly by now adding the sides to the cabinet. And once again, we need to do a little planning to figure out what size and shape the sides of our cabinet needs to be. So we again already know the sides are going to be cut from 1/2 inch thick plywood. Again, that's a good standard thickness for plywood or particle board. It just keeps the structure sturdy and it doesn't make the cabinet too crazy heavy. We need to also determine how tall the sides will be as well as the depth of the sides. So let's go back to AutoCAD to kind of help us figure this stuff out. So here we are, we have the first front elevation and now we're kind of doing like a cross section of the cabinet, and we have the face, the bottom, the back, and the supports, which I think in the last video I told you that this was a 4-inch, like a 1-inch by 4-inch. Turns out it's a 1-inch by 5-inch. So please make sure that you update your information. It should be a 1 by 5-inch support right here. All right, so what we need to understand about the side of a cabinet is the fact that the toe kick is going to be installed. And so in our shop, we install the side first and then the toe kick. But in order to plan it out, you kind of have to put the toe kick in first and then determine what the side is. I know it's crazy and confusing, but just work with me here, people. All right, so a toe kick is typically 4 inches high, and it usually sits back from the front of the face 3 inches. So let's go ahead and use a line, and we're temporarily going to map this out. So I'm going to draw a line straight down. Notice how that's 4 inches. Let's go ahead and use the offset command 3 inches and grab that line, and we're going to move it to the back. So that's where the front of the toe kick is. Lots of people use lots of different sizes, and some people probably would actually even put in a 5-inch toe kick right here instead of a 4-inch, but at our shop we did not do that. We just used a simple 1 by 4, and it was usually pine. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the thickness of this at 1 inch. And again, because this toe kick is kind of going like back in space, we're going to go ahead and put an X just to indicate that that's exactly what's happening. Now, the reason why I'm not putting an X in here, I was kind of thinking about it. We usually want to use a hatch in plywood to indicate the fact that it is indeed plywood. It's different from the supports that you see here. Okay, so yes, it does create a little bit of a gap right here, and then basically it's very empty underneath the cabinet. And you know, sometimes you need to make a nice cute little house for spiders. I mean, I know I'm kind of anti-spider in terms of it getting into the cabinets and into our spaces, but they are free to live in walls and they're free to live under the cabinets. Just don't come into my cabinet. But they're very important parts of the natural ecosystem. They eat lots of bugs, so let's be spider friendly and create cute little spaces for them. But now that we know where the toe kick is supposed to go, remember that our dado went back 3/8 inch. So I'm gonna hover and then put 3/8 inch, and this is where the dado actually is cut. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's make this a dashed line so that we can tell that this is actually inside. This is not on the outside of the cut, but this is kind of like in the wood itself. That just helps remind us that there's a dado mark there. All right, so with the red line, la la la, that's not what I meant to do. Let's select it, not choose a color. So the side is going to live from here all the way up our dado. It's going to be flush with the top of the cabinet. And there's a couple trains of thought on whether or not it actually goes to the back or through the back. At our shop, we actually had our sides go all the way to the back side of the cabinet. So I'm just illustrating where the side is going to be living. It comes all the way down, and it does cover all the way to the finished floor, and it goes flush with the toe kick, and then it's flush with the bottom of the cabinet as well. So you can kind of see now the red line indicates exactly what the side is going to be cut to. So let's grab all those red lines. La 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 la. even the one on the bottom, on the back, and let's move that over so that we can kind of get a better look at that side. Okay, beautiful. So now we can start measuring. This is going to be, let's do distance, 1 foot and 11 3/8. Oh, that's always so much fun to work with in SketchUp, is 3/8. But that's what it is. And then how tall is it going to be? 2 foot 10.5. And again, remember that the countertop is up on top, so that's why we're not going to a full 3 feet. The countertop goes to the full 3 feet, but not the cabinet. And then it's important to understand that this little cutout is typically, did I do that right? Yes, I did. So I was just thinking that it should be 3 inches by 4 inches, but I forgot that we're not going the full side of the cabinet here. Our sides are actually sitting inside of the frame. So that measurement is 2 3/8, and then it's 4 inches tall. So those are the basic measurements. Don't worry about it too much. I'm going to go over them in SketchUp. So let's go ahead and go over to SketchUp and start making our sides. Okay, we're back in SketchUp, and let's, I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. We're going to make the side right here. And remember that we're making it kind of the same way we did the stiles. We're going to like do the thickness of it and then push and pull it all the way up the height that it needs. And if you haven't already done so, I can't remember if I did this on a previous one, but we want to take the whole frame and the bottom, and we want to raise it up 4 inches from the basic floor line. So if we haven't done that already, go ahead and select all of this and move it up 4 inches. If you've already done it, then don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to take the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to kind of randomly draw out here. We need to make a long box kind of aligned with the green axis this time. Notice the dimensions in the bottom right hand corner. This is going to be 1 foot 11 3/8. So 1 apostrophe 11. Well, let me get it to actually start typing here. There we go. 1 apostrophe 11 space 3/8 inches, comma, space. And then remember, we're doing the thickness of the material. So this is going to be 0.5 inches. It's going to look really skinny. Okay, I totally did that backwards. So let's do an undo. And let's redraw this again. This time we have to do it backwards. So first is 0.5 inches. You have to pay attention to which direction that you're drawing, comma, space, 1 apostrophe 11 space 3/8 inches. So again, it's a 1/2 inch by 1 foot 11 3/8 inch. Hit enter. And there we go. Now we got it going in the correct direction. So sorry. Now we're going to push-pull this up. So we're going to give it its height. You might have to get a little close in order to activate that face of that plane. And then it's going to be 2 foot 2 apostrophe 10.5 inches. And there is the height of our side. We have to do the little cutout down here for the good old toe kick area. So I'm going to take my handy trusty tape measure tool. I'm going to find the edge. Make sure that you get the correct edge so it's that corner coming towards you. Grab that and pull that back using the green axes. And then we're going to do 2 space 3/8 inches for 2 3/8. So that's where that is. And then we're also going to bring this up 4 inches. Now we're going to use our pencil tool to actually score the surface. Without doing this, we can't cut anything. And then we're going to use the push-pull tool to push that back into itself until it cuts itself out. So that is what the side of your cabinet is going to look like. Isn't that just marvelous? We do need to have a side over here as well. So let's go ahead and triple click on this particular group. Let's go ahead and group it actually. Let's make a group. And now let's use the move command. Hover your mouse, hit control, then click on the side, let go of control so that you make a copy. And let's see if we can get this to behave itself. I'm going to use the right arrow to make sure that it goes perfectly on the other side instead of up or down or whichever direction it was trying to go. And so that way I have both the sides of the cabinets. And then all you have to do to get this into place is to grab the side by the front right corner, use the move command to do so, and then place it right into that dado. See how perfectly that fits? Normally what you would do is you'd put some glue in here, and then our company, we actually used a staple gun to just kind of staple into the corner. Nobody ever sees that part. And that just is like some extra support for the side to make sure that it stays in place and that the glue has some support as well. So there we go. We got our first side in. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. Oh, look how beautiful that matched up right here. So math works. It's so important to make things flush. And so that's why you have to do the proper planning. Otherwise your cabinets, they look a little shady. We don't do shady cabinets. We always want high quality cabinets here. All right. Let's place the other one in place as well. So grab that, move command. You can go from any corner as long as you match the same corner on your dado. So there we go. Our sides are in place. The last step is going to be to go ahead and add that toe kick in. We're going to kind of work from the bottom a little bit here. And remember that was a 1x4 inch. So it's kind of easy to work off of one side. Use the rectangle tool. Actually, I'm going to use the measuring tape tool to kind of drag this back and make sure you're on that green axis once again, 1 inch. And that helps me place a rectangle right here that kind of matches the side like you see here. And then we can use the push-pull tool to come across. And once again, when you're assembling something like this, you would already have this pre-cut for you. And we'd also glue not only the toe kick itself, but the side as well. And then we actually use like a finish nail gun to staple nails into it this way. And then you use putty to kind of cover that up and nobody ever sees that you actually use little nails to adhere and join these two pieces together. Now some people can do a rabbit joinery or another dado joinery. I don't know, were we cheap? I don't know. The better way to do it would be to do dado or dovetailing. That can really raise the price of your cabinets. So if you're looking for cheaper cabinets, then the method of using finish nails and a finish gun into the side is actually perfectly acceptable. So now you can kind of see how this works. So yes, the spiders can certainly still have access to their little space, but we're actually keeping our space free from spiders as a result. So we're almost done. The next step really is going to be to put on the back.